Now this is a quick tutorial on how to create an awesome lead magnet using Canva templates. So first of all, I'd like to go to Google and type in Canva. If you've already got an account, then great, because you will literally just log in with your account details. I've got an account, so it's just going to ask me to log in. But if you haven't got an account, then you'll have to go through that whole process until you get to your own home screen like this. Then I'd like you to click on Create a Design. What we're going to do is we're going to type in the search bar checklist. That's the lead magnet that we are going to create. Now, if you've been through my workbook, you will know there are many different templates that you can choose from in terms of what you'd like to give as a lead magnet. I personally think the easiest and quickest one to give away to your audience is a checklist, and it is by far the easiest one for you to create as your first one. So as you can see, when you type in here, this will show you all of the free Canva templates that you can choose from right here, and of which there are many. All you have to do is customize it in such a way that it makes sense for your target audience. So this would be a great one if you're helping people create their life goals. That's a beautiful image. That's a free image that you can download from Canva as well. And then here they've just got here some quick examples, and you would literally just tick in the boxes. Here's another example of having a self-care check-in. You would literally just tick off the boxes. Your audience would then feel that they've got a nice, good lead magnet that you've provided for them, that they can go and literally download or have on their screens and then use that as something of value to them. Like this one here, this is a really nice, quite feminine, quite fun theme that's just asking you to just tick the boxes. So by far, anything along these lines is going to be something nice, quick and easy for you to design, recreate in your own brand colours for your particular target audience. Okay, quite a few different types. As a coach, there are many here that you can actually use for your audience itself. All right, we're going to go back and we're going to use this one here. So the example I'm going to use is this one, and it is a checklist for maybe somebody who's doing something, who's a coach and maybe helping her customers and her target audience with journaling, which is something I'm very passionate about. So this could be a checklist for that. So if we was to go ahead and customize this, I'll just literally give you a quick example of what Canva can do. So down the left hand side here, you've got here photos that you can search Canva's stock library for. Images, if you wanted some images here. So if you wanted something that was going to be quite colourful, you could maybe get a picture of paints like this, for example, or like this. And then you would literally just drag them in. All of these ones here are all pro ones, so you'd have to pay for those ones. But if I was going to filter here, it would show you could choose the free photos, apply that filter, and then you can see all of the free images, and there will be quite a few, loads in fact, that you can choose from. All right. And then if you wanted to drop that into your particular checklist over here, you can drop it in any place at all. Suppose we wanted that one, you could drop it in, position it, and put it somewhere in your checklist. And then move all of the other blocks around. Now the really good thing about Canva is that all of these are clickable blocks that you can just move them around, change the wording and create your own from the templates that they've given to you. Okay, so I'm creating this one and it's going to be about art journaling. I don't actually want a photo in there, so I'm going to take that out and delete it. So you can just highlight the actual image and press delete on your computer, or you can actually go there and press delete here from the trash can. Either way works. So I'm going to leave the wording in there, checklist. Art journaling I'm going to leave in there. I'm going to centre that. So at the moment it's on left, justification, and I'm going to centre it. It's also slightly off in the centre of here, so I'm going to move that as well. So let's move that up to the centre. So you can see it's got grid marks. So there's the grid marks there, and it's positioned it in the centre. So you really don't need, masses of design skills in order to create something that looks really nice. So you've also got these points here. So this would be a checklist that is 7 points, but you might actually want to have, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10. So what you would do is highlight that area there, duplicate it, click on that one and move it to wherever you want it to go. And as you can see, it will just snap into place depending on where you want it to go. And then it will just slot itself in. So I'm going to change this colour in to be black. When you click on the letter in there, it will bring up this whole, I don't know what you'd call it actually, whole grid of different colours. I'm going to choose black there. Actually, that looks very stark, so maybe grey, or even if I wanted a darker grey, I can go here and choose a new colour. So I could go there and literally just select that there and move it around to give me a nice new colour. All right. That new colour is there. So I've changed it to that colour. I'm going to make that one the same. All right, so it's changed the colouring. Now you have something called elements as well in Canva. So you can drop little fun things in like this. A little heart can go in there. You can make it smaller, bigger. You can change the colours. So here it's showing you've got 2 colours there. I might want to make that outer colour a bright colour like that, more of a fuchsia pink, and then the inner colour more of a lighter pink. Maybe that's too light. There you go. And I'm going to leave that in there, maybe down here somewhere, just to show that that is something that we love doing. You can also move these shapes around. So you just go onto that little button there. It's just got a circular arrow motion, and that will move it around depending on where you want it to be positioned like that. You could also duplicate that by pressing the duplicate button there, and then it will duplicate it, and I might want to have one on each corner. So I can do that with it. All right. To move it around, you can either click directly into the shape and it will move it around, or you can go here, click on that grid mark and move it around, whichever's easiest for you. Now if you wanted to change these colours here, you can change them. Again, there's the circular arrows. You can change the direction of those. You can pull them in, you can take them out, you can make this smaller if you wanted to. You could group it up there together like that if you wanted to. I'm going to make this one here. Actually, I'll put that back to be more darker and make this one lighter. That makes better sense because that can be seen more against that background. Even these are little elements that have come from this section here. So if you remember, I picked that up from there. Here's some pens and stuff. I can pull those across. They've popped right into that space there. I'm going to move those around a little bit. I'm going to put those over there. I might make that a little bit smaller as well. Pop that over there. Just give it a little bit more of a pop of colour. So that's how you'd actually use the elements. If you wanted to add more text or a different combination of text, here's some wonderful font combinations that you can use if you wanted to, or you could just literally add a subheading. A subheading would be something smaller than that. So that would be a heading. and that's in checklist, and that's the font that it is, but you could change that font. You could make it slightly smaller to 90, like that, and press return and it will make it smaller. Or you could go here and toggle it and make it even smaller still by just scrolling down or up, whichever suits. Right, I'm going to make that centered, and then I'm just going to check that it is actually centered in the page. There it is. Okay. These, as I said, are elements. I'm going to change those colours to make them more of a fuchsia pink. So there's more of a pop on that. There you go. And then this I'm going to make like a goldy colour. Yeah, quite like that. And then maybe make that a different colour so it's not the same as what's on the other side. And then I'll make this one more of that lighter shade of pink. There you go, actually I quite like it, dusky. Yeah. Right. Now these boxes here, we could change these colours. We could make them whatever colour we want. Okay, so every time I move to a different square, it will change it to a different colour. They could all be different colours if we wanted them to be, or they could all be exactly the same. So we're going to make them all a paler grey, so it's not too colourful and keeps the focus of the purpose of the actual checklist. Okay. So now we're going to change the actual context of this. So all you do is just delete what's already there. Nothing further for you to do other than replace, delete or copy in order to get yours to look exactly the same. And I will just list all the items that they need to have in order for their checklist, this checklist to be perfect for the audience that this particular coach is trying to reach. So she's telling her audience that these are all the items that they will need in order to get started with art journaling. So from my own experience of art journaling, I know that these are some of the things that I definitely bought in the very beginning in order to get started. So if there was a coach that was teaching art journaling, this would be an absolutely amazing checklist for them to be able to put together for their audience. I'll just add the last two in here. Now this line is slightly longer, so we can move that up and we can increase the width of this like that. All right. And the last one, which is always a favourite of all art journalists, they all have stamp pads and ink pads of varying colours, shades and templates. This is an old one, so I'm going to press the delete button on the computer to get rid of that one. We don't need it. Oops, it doesn't want to do that, so I'm going to press the delete button here. So sometimes you might find that certain things, don't always work first time, so you might have to play around with it a little bit. But that is our checklist. If you wanted to change the font, you literally would go like that, highlight the font, choose a type font that you really like. You can actually type in a word here like script, and it will bring up all the script fonts. Okay, so one of my favourites is that one, which is Play Script. You can also click on the actual template and see what font has been used. So that is Play Script font. This one is Lato Bold, and this one is just Lato on its own. But if we wanted to change that, one of my other favourite fonts is Railway. You could literally type that in, and hopefully they have a Railway here. Yes, they do. So that's what I could change that to. And then it will change the font in Railway there, and it's changed it. It's very slight, the Railway font, very slight difference compared to the Lato, but you will just see it change ever so slightly when I just refer back to switching that over. So it's just slightly different, not massively, but it is a little bit different. So we'll change all of them. And then we will look at what it's like to actually change the font size of this and see if it looks better at this size, which is only 21 point, or if it needs to be slightly larger. Now 21 point as a font on an A4 sheet of paper is actually quite big. It doesn't obviously look that big here, but it is quite a large size font. But if we did want to change it and we wanted to make that, I don't know, 24, it does that. But again, remember you can do that as well. All right, but that is actually probably too big at the moment for what we're doing. So what's it, 22? Is it 22? 21. Let's make that 21. So there's 21. Fantastic. The other thing you can actually do, if you wanted to shift all of this to the left, you could actually click on here and then group them together like that. Actually, it's not the right size. We just want to move that over a little bit so it doesn't get caught up in this. So we would actually group these points together, and then collectively we could move it slightly, shift it to the left. Yeah, so that's something else you can do in order to create more space for your template. All right, and that is that. If you did want to have something where you wanted to use the same template again, all that you would need to do is duplicate that, and you'd copy the page, and you'd create the second page too as another version. And then on page 2 you might want to change it to say in something else. You could recreate this whole thing again. You know, you could totally recreate it in various different ways. You know, you might want to call this a checklist for you know, your top. Actually, it wouldn't even be a checklist. You could actually use it for something else. You could list your top 10 artists to follow, and then literally you know, you'd have a real play around with this on Instagram, and then literally you could just list. I mean, crikey, for some people this would be an amazing list. If they're looking for inspiration, this would be a great one. Top 10 artists to follow on Instagram, and then you'd literally just type in the artist's handle in here. You know, like that. That would be fantastic. I think a lot of people would love that, to be honest. I think that'd be a great one to do. And then what you can do is add a link here if you wanted to make anything on your checklist or your workbooks clickable and linkable. You literally then just press that button up there, and then you put in the full URL. You can copy and paste it in here, doesn't really matter. .com. Haven't got an artist name, but you would then put / best art journalist. And you type that in there and then press apply. And then what that means is that when you've downloaded this document, this becomes a clickable link whenever you offer it to anybody. Okay. The other things here is if you wanted to insert a video, you could insert a video. piece of footage. Some of it is really sweet. You know, it's very simple, but it would literally just sit inside of your particular document that you're creating. We're not going to do that, so I'm just going to delete that out of there. But that's what you could do if you had a video. You could also upload your own if you wanted to. There are lots of background images here, so you'd literally just click on that and drag it into your document, and it would just literally be a background for you, just like that. Okay, that was easy, just slot straight in. Uploads, this is where you would upload an image. So if your template was something that you wanted to create, where you wanted to show images from your website or something like that, then you could go here and literally just upload a picture that you wanted to put in there. So if I wanted to add this photo in here somewhere, I'd literally just click on it or drag it across, and then it would just sit in there somewhere. Okay, as I showed you earlier, that's pretty much what you would do with that one. We're going to delete that out of there. And then you can create folders where you want to put all your different stuff, all your designs, all the ones that you've liked, everything. I won't go into any of these other bits here because it's not really that relevant. So for the time being, all you've done is created and gone to Canva. You went to your home page, you searched for a checklist template, you got the template and you started creating. If for some reason you created a page that you didn't want anymore, you would literally just delete that page that you're on. Okay, just make sure I delete the right one. So you just delete that one page and you're left with this document. Okay, so what we'd also do is save the document. We're going to create a new name for it. So this one's going to be called Checklist for Art Journaling, and then we're going to press download. The download that you're going to create is going to be a PDF format, and we're going to click download, and that will normally save to your hard drive. We don't want to do any of that, but we do want to save it here. So I'm going to put it, for the time being, I'm going to put it onto my desktop. There it is, on my desktop now. So I do realise you couldn't actually see that top part, but there you go. So I've now saved it to my desktop. All right. Save it wherever you like. If you've got a folder for all of your checklists or all of your lead magnets, that's where you'd save it. So this is pretty much how it's going to look if somebody was to print it out, or if they're going to use it straight from their computer or their mobile phone. This is it in PDF format. All right, and that is that. That's the end of the tutorial. Thank you very much.